guys, this is Donya. Today we are meeting with Shelia at Patterson's Pest Patrol here in Queen City, Texas. But first I want to thank my sponsors. That's Fire and Knives in Linden, Texas, CNB Bank in Queen City, Texas, Domino Federal Credit Union, and Texarkana Contractors. But today we are focusing on Patterson's Pest Patrol. So I got Shelia here. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am 58 years old, and I like to say, I know, it's okay. Most of everybody's like, what? But I am a licensed killer, and I'm proud of it.
There you go.
I am not afraid. I told a judge one time, I'm a licensed killer, and I like it. I have no remorse. And he said, get out of my courtroom. But he knew I was a licensed pest control, but I was just being funny.
But it got you out of a ticket, right?
Well, it got me out of having to do jury duty.
Oh, that's even better. That is even better. So let's start off with the story. How did this whole business come about?
Well, let's see. Let me think about this now. For years, I worked in the medical field. I worked for an alternative and preventive medicine doctor. Became ill, and so we had to close the clinic. We did vitamins and nutrition. He taught me a lot. And so I did not want to do mainstream medicine. I was just a secretary, which had advanced to being understudy, basically him. And Dr. Donald Whitaker, who has passed on, he was a doctor of osteopathy, and I learned a lot of nutrition. And one of the things that he taught me was treating the cause, not the symptom. So I decided when my late husband, Michael Ty Patterson, and that's where Patterson Pest Patrol came from, we talked about doing a pest control company. We wanted to build on something that would treat the cause and not the symptom. And so when I discovered that integrated pest management, IPM, was just like that, I thought, hey, great. So we can have a marriage here and integrate IPM with pest control and everything that I've known from the medical field. Cheers. Started out in the medical field. My late husband retired from Texarkana Water Utilities, and Patterson Pest Patrol started in his F-150. And $500, and we got a license, and away we got started.
What year was that?
2000, and actually we became licensed in 2000, January the 1st, 2010.
Okay.
So I think it might have been a little bit before that, 2009, maybe in the fall of 2000, might have been November of 2009, but we officially started January the 1st, 2010. So, and I believe that we are the oldest licensed Texas Department of Agriculture here in Cass County. So, licensed with Texas Department of Agriculture.
So what is that, 15, 16 years?
Going on 16 years. Yeah, that's pretty good. So
yeah.
We've crossed a lot of hurdles.
Especially since you started with $500.
Yes.
You know, I mean, people always say, oh, you have to have money to make money. It takes sometimes a very small amount. The biggest thing that it takes is the option to just do it.
That's right.
To just jump.
And we were scared. Yeah. Even me, I was scared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so many times in life, people don't just jump, and they lose so much because they just are too afraid. So I applaud you guys for doing that, because it's kind of what I do all the time.
I had the commercial applicator's license because I had worked for another company, and I escalated and got my license. And when he retired from the Texarkana Water Utilities, after 22 years, he got his technician's license. So when we opened up Patterson Pest Patrol, he didn't really like telling everybody that he worked for me, but he did. But he was also proud too.
Oh,
that's a man thing.
That is a man thing. That is definitely a man thing. Okay, so what are the most common pest problems that residents in Cass County have? What's going on out there?
Let's see. Roaches. We do a lot of roach cleanouts, and we try to take an extra step in doing things. We do a roach cleanout, for instance. We will vacuum up everything that we kill, so they don't have to deal with all that.
Now, I've got it. That's just kind of popped in my head all of a sudden. The roaches, because they're so difficult to get rid of. Mm-hmm. For the normal person, we need to call somebody like you. But when they die, can they still hatch their eggs while they're dead?
Actually, the nature of a roach, if you've ever sprayed a roach with, say, over-the-counter product, and you see it flip up or it's going crazy, it's trying to push, and you see that little bitty egg that's on the backside of a female roach, it's the nature. God created everything to recreate. So even a roach, they know that they're dying, but they're trying to push that egg out
Okay.
before they die. So the egg is protected. But one of the things that's very unique is we put an immune growth regulator in our chemical cocktail that we make up when we go out and spray. And it's called an IGR, and it keeps them from being able to reproduce. So the eggs may hatch, but if that egg sac is sprayed with chemical, then when those roaches hatch out of that egg sac, even when mama is dead, she's DOA, but those eggs hatch. They're going to get out of that into the chemical, even though it's dried. There's a lot of chemicals out there on the market today that have a residual on them, and so it works wonders. So they cannot grow to full potential because they got the IGR on them.
Okay.
So they'll eventually die.
Okay. So they will hatch.
Yes,
but
they will hatch.
It'll stop them from
reproducing.
reproducing.
They won't be able to grow to full potential, so they will die.
Okay. That's good to know, because I always wondered, because it's like,
yeah.
Does the, newborns.
So a lot of the chemicals are transferable. If a roach dies, and they're also cannibalistic. So sometimes they'll come in and they'll eat the roaches that are dead, and they will have that transfer effect on them.
And so they'll die.
Ingest into it, and they'll die. And they'll take it back to the nest. And when Mama Roach starts cleaning all the other little soldiers that have come in to go, oh, great. And, and they've gotten chemical on them, and she ingests it and she dies. So she can't have any more babies.
Now, how many, and you may not know this, but how many eggs can one roach have? Like, is it 100?
How many babies do you have at a time?
One.
One at a time. So actually, one egg sac usually has about 30 to 45 babies in it.
One
sac.
So they have a bunch of twins.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but 30 to 40 in each one of those. But they only have one egg.
Yeah, one egg at a time.
All right.
Yeah. But they can have about 30,000 eggs. Babies a year.
So they do multiply rather quickly.
Oh, yeah, 200 to 300 egg sacs.
So if you're having a problem with roaches, it's better to get a hold of them now.
Right? Immediately. The first time, one roach is bad news for me.
Right.
Because Sheila don't do roaches.
Okay.
I love killing them. That's why I love doing roach cleanouts. That's my favorite thing to do out of everything. Every one of our technicians here
have a specialty.
They have a specialty. The one thing, we even have a skunk whisperer.
Really?
He can go up to a skunk caught in a trap, and he can talk to it, and that skunk kind of bows up at him, but he's never gotten sprayed.
Wow, that's easy. So yours is the roach one. You don't like the roaches, so you like to nick them in the bud. Okay, very good.
I used to like the bed bugs, but I really do like roach cleanouts now.
All right.
So
very good.
Yeah, I even played Ghostbusters theme whenever in my back.
Very cool. That's fun.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Hey, now that I've got one more question for you, how many different types of roaches are there out there?
Actually, there's about over 4,500. We really only live with about 3 or 4 that we're concerned about here in Cass County. So we have the German cockroach, which is the most prevalent, and we have the Oriental, and then we have the American cockroach, which is known as, quote unquote, the water bug.
So those are one and the same. I always thought that. It's like, why are we calling it a water bug? It looks just like a roach. But some of them get large. Yeah. Some of them get really large.
Yeah, they do.
That's crazy. Okay, I had no idea that a water bug and a roach was the same thing. But people just don't like calling them roaches.
Yeah, trying to be classy.
Trying to be classy. I don't have roaches. I've got water bugs.
You know what? Men are the world worst about that. They'll go, oh yeah, honey, those water bugs? They're American cockroaches. But they're water bugs.
Why do they call them water? Do they like water? Do they live in water?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Because they do. A lot of times when we go into a home and like a lot of women, or especially there are young couples that when they first buy a home, and they'll call us and they'll say, hey, we're having a problem with those big water bugs. And I'm like, okay, American cockroaches. All right. One of the things we ask, have you had a recent water leak? Is your house on pier and beam or slab? Do you have a lot of leaf debris outside your home? Jamie will ask this stuff when they call to the office to ask about, for a technician to come out. So those are some of the major things we ask. And the reason why, if there's a water leak, because of American cockroaches, water bugs like moisture, they like that damp, moist wood. And that's usually And they do live in trees. They live in oak trees. If you have some oak trees close to your home and it's a lot of leaf debris, you don't rake your yards and stuff like that.
Let me
Yeah,
tell
they're
you, the reason I'm saying this because I live right under like 2 big oak trees, and I have been every day going out and raking those things away from my house, right?
Yeah,
And so I was piling them up against trees, like around the trees area. I probably need them. I need to get those leaves as far away from the house as possible
probably so.
because I don't have a
Yeah,
problem, but I don't want a
you
problem
don't want
either.
a problem. Right.
So my sister actually come over yesterday afternoon. She blew them a little bit further away, so I may just have to have her
Yeah.
come over and do that often. So,
Yeah.
all right. So if you got lots of leaves, oak trees,
Yeah.
they like to hang out there. So
Yeah, they do. They
need to
do.
get rid of those.
They do.
Okay. Okay. So what is one thing most people don't know about pest patrol or pest control that could actually save them money and frustration? One, getting the leaves away from your house.
Right. Well, we do a lot of integrative pest management.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So IPM, as I was saying earlier, a lot of times I relate to it because working in the medical field in the alternative and preventive medicine, the doctor that I work for, we treated the cause and not the symptoms. So, I mean, it's the same as if you go to the doctor and you've got a runny nose and he gives you a prescription for that runny nose. When you walk away and you go, well, I wonder why did I have that runny nose? Well, when you call us at Patterson Pest Patrol, we're going to tell you, we're going to come out and take a look and see what's causing your problem, what's causing your roaches.
You're just not going to throw chemicals out there. You're going to find
No.
out why they're there,
That is
and that
correct.
way they won't come
That's
back,
right.
hopefully, right?
Yeah, and exactly. When we come out and do an inspection and talk about because we don't give you a set price. We don't have a set price. And when you call and say, well, how much does it cost for general pest control? Well, how big is your house? We ask you a whole bunch of questions before we can even just give you a roundabout price. But we really like to come out to your house and visit with you and talk to you one-on-one and begin that relationship with you and hopefully gain you as a client.
And guys, I want to tell you this because we were talking about it earlier. They actually do give the free inspection so they can come out and look at it, and then they'll be able to tell you more
Exactly,
about what
and
you
more
need.
depth. You come out and say, for instance, we were talking about the water bugs a while ago. One of the things we ask you is, we may find that you may have had a water leak underneath your sink. I did at my cabin last weekend. I realized that I had a water leak underneath. I didn't have any bugs because I keep my cabin sprayed, but I did have, and it could be potential, have a bring in water bugs because I have a lot of oak trees around the cabin out at the lake.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but you discover like if there's wet wood or there's rotten wood, or it could be, you have an issue with termites. We could look at and see what's going on. Hey, you got a water leak here. When's the last time you got that fixed? Or you might need to get a plumber out here. A lot of clients, they appreciate that, but
Well,
pay more
yeah.
attention to that.
Absolutely.
Because not everybody goes around and looks around your house at least once a month. Walk around your house and look up at your eaves. Look at your slab, see if there's any cracks or chips in it or any holes or gaps or things like that. That's part of IPM program that we do for our clients.
Those are full of leaves.
Yes.
And so you need to keep your gutters clean, right?
Agree 100%.
Okay. So there's
Because they will
of...
also draw in, those wet leaves will draw in ants.
Okay.
In the springtime or even the fall.
So there's a lot of preventative stuff that we can do. We just need to know what to do. And that's part of what you guys can help us.
That's exactly right. That's it.
That's awesome. Okay, many families worry about safety. We were talking about this earlier, but what product methods do you use to keep pets and children safe during the treatment?
Well, of course, right off the top, everything that we use is EPA approved. Okay. We don't use any products that somebody hasn't. Just say somebody comes by and says, hey, we're selling this product. Once you start using it, don't have a patent on it. It's not been approved by EPA. You might as well go on down 59 because we're not talking to you about it. But we do ask that almost every label that we use, I can't think of not one thing that doesn't say stay out of the area until the chemical is dry. So we take it a step further. I ask that, and my technicians ask that you remain out of the property, out of the area. You cannot be in the house. Like, for instance, we're doing a 1,500 square foot house. You can't be in there. Your animals don't need to be in there. If they are, put them in a locked kennel so they can't lick or anything like that. Remove any kind of birds, cover the fish up. To protect. Want to protect. So you're not breathing those vapors Most of them, they dry. You're perfectly fine. It's great.
How long does it take for them to dry?
And usually 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, that's not long.
So,
If they were going like 3 hours, that's more than
But now
enough.
sometimes, we always ask, and especially when you have children under the age of 4 or 5, stay out of the house at least 2 hours. That's for your protection.
Yeah, sure.
Or if you've had any kind of asthma problems, congestive heart failure, any kind of breathing issues, stay out of the house for at least 2 hours. And then when you do come back, open your windows up, turn your fans on, make sure that the chemical is dry. Just circulate the air. Okay.
And once the chemical is dry, it's safe.
Perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yes.
I did not know that.
And we do provide chemical labels and SDS sheets for any resident that you ask for it. And we treat your house, a client asks for it. We do email it to you. Most of the time we have it. And there are websites, almost every chemical that you can actually go to on the EPA website, that they have chemical labels and SDS sheets for every product.
Okay, very good. All right, if someone starts seeing signs of pest, what is the first steps they should take?
Use that finger. Dial 903-799-9138.
Because it's always easier to fix it at the beginning. If you can catch it, call the number. There's just no reason not to. They're going to give you a free.
Yes, we put the cuffs on the pest so you can rest.
There you go. I love that. And that is so true. So if you start seeing signs, even ants coming in around things, go ahead and give them a call. They can come out, do an inspection, and they do the inspection again for free, and they can help determine what needs to happen. So,
and we always do that with our apartment complexes a lot of times because I travel. Everybody knows I travel. All of my technicians travel, but I travel all over the state of Texas doing IPM stuff for a school district. Will call me and say, hey, we need you to come look and inspect our school because we are in trouble and we need to get some things fixed.
You know what? I didn't ask you this earlier, and maybe, I don't know. Are you the only one in the area that uses is it the IPM?
IPM? No, I'm not. I am not. There are we have other colleagues that do the same thing. Pest control, it's available for everybody. Most of the people stay right here in the area. I think Cass County is one of the largest counties in the state of Texas. And we probably have, I'm going to say probably 10, 12 pest control companies, maybe. But I know that we are the oldest licensed pest control company here in Cass County. And I'm probably one of the few that is brave enough to travel all the way down to the end of Texas and out to West Texas.
Why don't they get somebody down there?
Because I guess they like us. And because
you're the oldest in this area, so they know you've got the knowledge.
Well, it's not so much as that. It's just I like to travel. I've always loved to travel my whole life.
Me too.
And I think you were over the road truck driver. So in fact, I just got back last night from being about 4 hours away, and I was gone my husband was glad to see me home. But and sometimes he goes with me, but I do like to travel, and when a school district calls and says, hey, I'm having problems, sure, write that check, I'll be happy to help you.
Absolutely.
Or an apartment complex,
right.
And of course, I'll go and spend at least a day or 2 days with them and looking at all of their property and trying to help them. You can't just give it an estimate over the phone.
Right. Yeah.
You could. A lot of companies out there probably will.
Well, they probably just do a flat rate.
But I just want to make sure that we give them everything, the best bang for their buck.
Yeah.
I know that sounds probably crude, but...
No, I mean, it makes sense because you don't want to give somebody something that they don't need.
And
you don't want to not give them something that they do need. And you don't know that until you're there seeing it.
That's correct.
So
I'm a hands-on person. I don't ask my technicians to do anything that I can't do. I used to, and I still do. I can crawl underneath houses and crawl up in the attics.
You are a brave soul.
I don't like dealing with snakes. One time I was doing a termite inspection down in another county. I think it was in Panola County 2 years ago. And I noticed there was this huge big hole. And the closer I got to it underneath the house, I could smell it. And you know how water moccasins have that smell? Oh. And I started backing out. And I was like, and I looked over it. Yeah, there were some water moccasins. And I was like, oh no. That was the last termite inspection I did underneath a house like that. So, I mean, I've done several termite inspections since then, a lot. But
I don't do snakes.
I don't like snakes.
I don't like snakes either. Oh, no. Okay. What is the biggest mistake we kind of went over this already. I know what your answer is, but the biggest mistake homeowners make when trying to handle their own pest.
Not reading and that's why it's best to call a pest
Perfect.
control
It's
professional.
always best to know some
Right,
because, like you
because
were saying,
a
they
lot
don't
of people will,
know.
if the label says mix 1 ounce to a gallon, they're going to mix 5 ounces to a gallon
Right.
because more is better. No, it's not.
See, like,
They
for
don't-
example, my mom, they'll read something and, which my mom knows sizes pretty well and everything, but I'm always of things together, but they want to do it on their own, but it's always best to have somebody come out and
Right.
just take care of it.
Right.
So,
So always call Patterson Pest Patrol.
gotcha. All right. Can we explain the difference between one-time treatment and ongoing preventative services?
Depending on, it's not really there. We don't have a magic bullet. I will be the first to tell you, any Texas Pest Control Association member or any licensed pest control person, if being honest with you and telling you, there is not a magic bullet for pest control.
Right.
There's not. Sometimes it takes more than once. Most of the time, it takes more than once. One-time treatments. So that's why we don't. If you're on a quarterly, we set you up on a quarterly service agreement, not a contract, a service agreement, because we can't charge you for services that are not rendered. We're not going
Okay.
to charge you for services that are not rendered.
So let's say somebody wants to get set up on the quarterly and they're going along and they're like on their 12th month and they're like, you know what, we really can't afford it this month. Can they just call you
Yeah,
and
they
say,
call
hey,
us,
let's
hey,
postpone that?
right, let's postpone it. And we're good about that. And
Again, because
hopefully-
you know your
Sure.
customers,
Right.
your friends and family.
And but the good thing about quarterly pest control is if you're set up on a quarterly, we always call and set up an appointment before we ever come out and service. That is a given. We don't just show up. Now, we do have some businesses that are set up on a monthly basis, but we always still set those up and we call them and say, hey, it's time for your pest control this month or this quarter, and we need to make this appointment. We've got this available date for you. But anytime that we have a client on residential that's set up on a quarterly basis, if, say, for instance, I come out to your house, Donya, and you're set up on quarterly pest control, and we serviced your house this past Monday, and 3 weeks into the month, your mother-in-law, I don't know who she is, but say, for instance, she comes out and she leaves, and you go, oh my gosh, in her bedroom where her suitcase was sitting, you saw a roach, and you didn't have roaches before. You pick up the phone and you call me, hey, Sheila, I got a problem over here. Okay. And you tell me what happened. Tell me what's going on, what you think happened.
Right.
Okay. So we come out, even though we just sprayed you 3 weeks ago, we come out, we investigate. And if there's a need to treat that area, we do it free of charge, as long as it's within the scope of the general pest control that you signed up for. Now, if you say, for instance, you have somebody, your brother-in-law comes or your mother-in-law comes and she leaves and you go, oh my gosh, I got bed bugs. Now that's a whole different ballgame. Okay. Because you're not set up for quarterly bed bug treatments. We don't do.
Okay, so that's separate.
That's separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Just as the general pest control,
Okay.
which is just
Roaches.
roaches, anything within the home that's like roaches, ants, silverfish, anything general like that.
Okay.
It's all included in that quarterly pest control. But bed bugs, rodents, termites, fire ants, those things are raccoons, skunks, snakes, all of those things are separate. That's
Okay.
separate services.
But you can get separate services
Yes.
for those instead
Yes.
of quarterly and everything.
Yeah, well, not for bed bugs or termites. Termites are once a year. We come out and treat your home for termites, or you want a preventative treatment. We do that one time, and then we use the very best chemicals on the market, probably the most expensive to a lot of people, but it's your home, and you want to provide the very best care for it. So
Absolutely.
you want to use the very best.
Absolutely.
That is your life
Mhm.
right there. When a couple buys their home, or a man and woman, whoever buys a home, they want to preserve that. They want to preserve the integrity of their home. So
Absolutely.
therefore, you want the best chemical, and that's what we use, is the very best chemical on the market, which is Turnador HE. It's manufactured by BASF. It gives you the best residual.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, we were talking about apartments. You do handle apartment complexes,
Yes, we do.
but there's something else that you kind of got going on with apartments.
Well,
Tell me about it.
I'm excited. For the last couple of years, I have gone to This brings back to when I worked in medical field, and I love and most senior properties, apartment complexes, they're not assisted living, they're
Okay.
not nursing home, they are senior properties.
Is that the ones that say 50 or above or 55 and above? No
Something
kids or
like
something?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
but most of the time they don't classify. They'll say XYZ retirement village,
Okay. Okay.
or they'll say something trails,
Okay.
uh, different things like that. And so in your mindset, okay, this is a senior property. But a couple of years ago, I started servicing a lot of senior properties, and then I got to noticing something really special. I began being friends with a lot of them, and it's just almost like when I'm back in the early days in my 20s when I worked in the nursing homes, and I got to experience working in geriatrics, and I really loved it. Working in the apartment complexes, I began noticing that some of these people don't have a lot, and they tend to, it's almost like their families have just let them move into these apartments, and they kind of forgot. Years ago, I needed something to fill my life after I lost my son and then my daughter and then my husband. I needed something. So I reached out and I talked to the apartment managers. And excuse me if I start crying because this is something I'm very passionate about. So I reached out to one particular apartment complex, and so they welcomed me and they said, "Oh, yeah, we'd love for you to." And I said, "Well, just tell me how many men, how many women that you have in the apartment." So I gathered up and I love to shop. And my daughter, that passed away, whenever she'd break up with a boyfriend, she'd always say, "Okay, mama, let's go shopping." So we'd go shopping on a Saturday. So she
Right.
knew I loved shopping. And my granddaughters loved it. Mimi loves to go shopping. About 3 years ago, I started going shopping again. So I went shopping, just not any expensive gifts, but just little trinkets. Like, for instance, a coffee cup, you'd be surprised of what a sweet lady or a great gentleman will, when they open up this little gift bag and it says faith. And faith is strong as my coffee. And I love this cup. It's
Yeah.
even though it's got a chip in it. Um, I started collecting things. And so I put them in bags and decorated them up in beautiful bags. And I'd sit in my hotel room and I put my tote boxes in my truck and I would take them all to the hotel room. And people at the hotel would be like, "What are you doing? Miss Patterson, do you need some help?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got this. But yeah, if you'd like to help." And I'd have like 3 or 4 tote boxes in there for this apartment complex. And I have all these gifts. I collect. And
Like
that
throughout the
first
year,
year,
right?
well, the first year I just bought them all right there in December because I was so excited. My granddaughter, Mallory, she went with me and she helped me buy some of the gifts. But anyway, so I sat in the hotel room and I put all these gift bags together with the tissue paper and everything. I made it really pretty. And so, and then the next year, and the smiles on their faces that year were so wonderful. So the next year, I asked this apartment complex. I said, "Hey, can you tell me, what do you need?" And she said, "Well, yeah, I would love to." And she said, "Yeah, we want you to come back." Said everybody loved it. So that year I got to get my high school principal from years ago where I graduated from. She lives not too far from there and she joined me. And so we got to sing Christmas carols. Of course, it was a cappella.
That's okay.
And
That's awesome.
but we sang Christmas carols and everybody joined in with us. And of course, they had catered and brought in food. And then the residents there had cooked some foods and things to add to it. And we had such a wonderful time. And of course, last year, actually, I had gathered all year and had a little bit more stuff. And the funniest thing, I have to tell this story. So I just did some personal hygiene things, for some of the residents. And I didn't know who they were, really and truly. And I didn't keep up. You're a woman, so you get a woman gift. So I had this dear, sweet lady. She comes over to me and she says, "Miss Sheila," she had her bag. And she said, "Can I get a different gift?" And I said, "Is there something wrong?" And she opened up the bag and it had a toothbrush and some toothpaste and a couple of other things orally. And she said, "I can't use that." And she smiled. She had no teeth. I said, "Oh my," and she just busted out laughing. I said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "I'm so sorry." So I have to be careful about stuff like that. I have to remember So anyway, it was funny. And so even now when I see her, in fact, I saw her just recently a couple weeks ago, and she said, "You coming to the Christmas party?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am. And I'll be sure this year you don't get a toothbrush and toothpaste." So
That's
anyway, it's
funny.
funny.
That
So
is
anyway, back to our, what, Christmas for seniors. So this year I'm opening it up. So instead of just me hoarding all the blessings, opening it up to let the public, and we've already started letting people have already started bringing by money to donate so that we can buy more gifts. And I'm taking on another complex, actually two more complexes. So we're going to need probably about 120 to 140 gifts to give out. And some of these complexes, most of them are single people that are in there. Maybe they have a medical handicap or something. Just the joy that when it's just something simple, it's something, but it fills them up. And a lot of their families maybe they live in the town where the apartment complex is, and maybe their family lives in another state and they
right.
can't see them and visit them. And it's great to get cards and it's great to get a gift in the mail, but it's something about opening up that gift right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So that's begun Christmas for seniors.
Christmas for seniors. And if they
Yeah.
do have donations that they want to drop
Yes.
by, would they bring it here to Patterson?
Yeah, bring it here to the office. And if I'm not here, Jamie will be at the front desk. Or if you have some simple little gifts, maybe that you want to give away, like a small trinket, a photo album, a set of greeting cards and stamps, maybe a little cozy fleece blanket or some fuzzy socks. I've got a list here of different things, any kind of toiletry, hygiene items, anything like that. But we do like nail clippers. I think we have some little manicure sets that I
Okay.
bought and given away over the last couple years, and I think we probably got 15 or 20 of them. We'll put several little items in a bag. I have already the gift bags bought back there in the warehouse, and I'm excited because we're going to have to put together for all of our residents. I've got one more apartment so I'm waiting on a list from, and that one has a couple of special needs of our residents that are there at that apartment complex. And so I want to make sure that we get the right.
Absolutely. All right. So let's tell people, where are you located exactly?
We are located at our new location. I'm so excited.
Can I tell you, it is gorgeous. First of all, she gave me a tour. Do you give anybody a tour?
I will give you a tour.
It is a beautiful building on the inside. We are in the beautiful conference room right now, and y'all just did an amazing job.
Well,
it is a
thank you.
beautiful building. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So our address is 1005 Highway 59 in Queen City. We're right here in Queen City.
Yes.
And so you can't miss us. We don't have our sign out front yet because I haven't honestly figured out what I want to put it and where I want to put
And
it.
I was trying to think, where could they, all right, so there's Walnut Street. So the corner of Walnut and 59 right here. What else is near you? Do you know right?
We're right across from the truck center. It used to be the truck center.
Okay, the East Tex over there. And it looks like right down there, it's the Queen City Assembly of God.
Yes.
So
when you come over the hill,
if you're coming
slow down from Texarkana, it's on the right hand side. If you look for the pretty black roof,
it is beautiful.
Long building.
Yeah.
My husband, that's the reason why I married him. I married my contractor.
Smart woman.
Yes, very much so. But actually, that roof is the reason why I met my husband.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So he his son, and we had contracted. So that's a whole nother story.
We'll have to come back and do that.
Yeah, that one's another time. But, God blesses us. But we took this building, my late husband, Mike, and I, we looked at this building years ago when we first started Patterson Pest Patrol. And at that time, we couldn't afford it. And the same owner that owned it that I bought it from, and it wasn't the right time. God's timing is everything. And so, and I'll tell you something else. It was really cool about this building is because we come in here and we gutted it, but we rebuilt it. And I think about God doing that because each step that we did, all the wood, it's beautiful wood, came from John Farmer's. I have to shout out to him, Johnny Farmer at 3 States Lumber Mill down there.
Okay.
And he has been a wonderful friend for many years. And I use him exclusively.
Well, the wood is just
beautiful. And we have a mixture of cypress, we have cedar, we have oak in here, but
the barn doors.
Yes.
I love those.
And pine. So, but God use this building to help rebuild me and show me because as I was telling before we started the podcast, in 17, I lost my son. In 18, I lost our daughter. 19, I had a stroke and ended up with 3 brain surgeries. The third one left me paralyzed on my left side. I fought my way back. And I said, God, if you can't heal me 100%, then take me home because I had 2 babies there. I took and my husband. And he suffered from congestive heart failure and diabetes. God raised me up at 19. And so I was able to take care of him until he took his last breath. So all through that, Patterson Pest Patrol stood strong, and we're still standing strong today.
Are womanly owned.
Yes. And so this building taught me a lot at taking it down to nothing and building it back. And it's amazing. I mean, when I drive by and I think about it and I lay at night and I think about it's more than just a building to me because we looked at this building years ago when we first started it. But when I bought it from Pastor Story, we closed on it on October the 17th, which was the day that my late husband passed away.
Wow.
2 years ago. And so when we opened it up this year, I was so thankful. And Brother Brian Glenn, who's a dear, wonderful pastor at Texarkana, came and gave the opening prayer back in the early spring. But I think about this building and I think about how to heal with remaking this building. It took us 2 years.
Like you
But we
said,
made it.
sometimes we have to be empty
Yes.
before he can fill us up.
Yes, that's right. And so he rebuilt me at the same time. He rebuilt and got a husband out of it.
There you go. Yeah.
Sammy's wonderful. So sometimes I think he could probably pull my head off. So I think he enjoys me being gone sometimes through the week.
Get a little break.
Get a little break. Honey, do this. Honey, do that.
So give me the address one more time.
5 Highway 59, King City.
And you also have a Facebook page.
Yes, we do. We are stepping up our social media. And so, yeah.
But right now it's Patterson Pest Patrol.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
Patterson
And
Pest
then
Patrol,
the phone number
LLC.
again is
903-799. And we do have a website. It's Patterson Pest Patrol LLC.com.
Okay.
You can go to that website and you can actually go to that website and
Get an appointment.
Okay. Or you can send us a note and say, hey, please call me. But yeah, we've got a lot of new things that are going to be coming up with this coming year in 2000. Of course, in 2026, we also this will be our 5th year doing a annual crappie tournament.
Yeah.
Patterson Pest Patrol Crappie Throwdown.
I actually saw that on your webpage.
Year 5 is coming up, and it's going to be a big one. This year was year 4, and it wasn't big. It was just our normal thing, but year 5 is going to be big.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we've got that we're looking forward to. And then we have another thing that is in the works. It's called Operation Mop Bucket. And I'll give you more information about that later.
That sounds great.
So,
I look forward to it.
So anyway, it's been fun, and I've really enjoyed it.
Thoroughly enjoyed it as well. So guys, if you have any type of issue, remember to use that finger and dial 903-799-9138 to get everything taken care of. Again, this is Sheila at Patterson's Pest Patrol,
where we put the cuffs on the pest so you can rest.
There you go. A blessed and awesome day. We'll talk to you soon.